and welcome to a special program of Cricket Predicta. We are at the heart of UAE, very close to the ICC headquarters, and guess what do we have today? We've got four of the best and the eminent thinkers of the game. We start off with Paul Tinnett, Stanley Chiozza, who's been into coaching. Paul has been into a podcaster. Noel David, of course, one of the best fielders of the game, now a coach, and also Taus Rizvi, the boy from Maidans to the Melbournes of the world who understands every game, every player and their background. Well, let's dive into the first question. Let me introduce Paul Tinnett into the show. Paul, welcome to the show. Let me start by asking you, what was the first reaction when you saw the match, which was not a 250 or not a 300 match, but you know, close to 200 and less than 200?
Yeah, well, that was one of the things last season, wasn't it? That they were explosive up top and exciting, but there's a feeling that if they lost a few early wickets, then things could unravel. It didn't really unravel too much. I know that in this year's IPL, 190 odd isn't that massive a score. I think it was notable, though, that at the innings break, SRH were still slight favourites on Win Predictor. So it wasn't a terrible score. And, they've got, I reckon, pretty decent batting depth, even beyond Abhishek Sharma and Travis Head and, say, Ishan Kishan. That Hydrik Klassen, Aniket Verma was really good tonight. Manohar can really smash the ball. Even Pat Cummins smacking his first 3 balls for 6. So I think they've got more. They're more than just a top 3 side. And I like the fact that they are kind of committed to the sort of Owen Morgan philosophy of no matter how many wickets we lose, we're going to keep on going hard. And it's tremendously exciting to watch.
Well, Paul, thank you very much for explaining the viewers about if there is a sudden top order collapse like we saw of Sunrisers Hyderabad, do they get into a trouble? And very eloquently put. Now let's get on to the second question, Paul, and very honest answers the fans demand, which is Sunrisers Hyderabad batting lineup is extremely dangerous as compared to the other teams. When it comes to the bowling, can this be considered as their weakness because they are 3 or top 4 batters heavy and with no bowling? I mean, on a given day, they can score 300 runs, which they claim to do so, but they are also susceptible of giving 300 runs while the bowling is happening. And that's what we saw yesterday. Thank you.
Well, when you think SRH, you do think batting. And I think that the fact that their batting is their stronger suit is not a controversial opinion. It doesn't mean that their bowling is necessarily weak. I do think that how they're going to perform as a bowling unit is going to a degree, depend on how well their 2 Australians go. Pat Cummins, I thought, was better tonight. He got a couple of key wickets, and I think he's improved from that first game. Zampa, first 2 games, going at about 12 and over in both of them. He's the sort of bowler that can take a little while to work his way into a tournament. His form tends to go in peaks and troughs. And in the 2023 50-over World Cup, first 2.5 games, he was pretty disappointing. It suddenly all clicked, and then he was probably the main reason, the single biggest reason that Australia went on to win that World Cup. So Sunrisers Hyderabad fans would be hoping that on a pitch that doesn't always make it easy to bowl spin, that he can discover that sort of form, and that if he and Cummins can hit their straps, then I think they are a pretty decent bowling unit.
Well, the highlight of the game wasn't the batting, wasn't the bowling, but someone called Lord Shardul Thakur. What an absolute amazing story, like a Cinderella man, the boxing story that we saw a few years ago. This man was not even picked. Erratic injuries, he makes a comeback, he paratrooped into the team, and guess what? He is now a purple cap holder. He's got 4 wickets last night, player of the match. Did you find this thing very intriguing, or this is the trademark IPL thing, that being ready for surprises like we did last night?
I think the fact that Shardul Thakur was not picked up at the auction shows a couple of things. One, just the incredible standard of the IPL. Every year after the auction, there are several players that worldwide fans think, how did they not get picked up? And I think Shardul Thakur is definitely an example of that. It's just high stakes, and there's no league like it in the world. I think the other thing is probably there is a little bit of a disadvantage in being kind of an out-and-out all-rounder, where the sort of guy that is very handy with the ball and very handy with the bat, cricket tends to, and the IPL is no exception, fancy someone who is an out-and-out star with either bat or ball and then is handy with the opposite. But I've always liked Shardul Thakur. I mean, some of the stuff he's done in Test cricket. I remember some innings he played against England even. He's the sort of guy that you tend to win cricket matches with a player like him in there. So I'm really pleased that he's got an opportunity and pleased that he started the season so well.
Thank you, Paul. But also, let's take a step back and talk about another unsung hero who makes a comeback into the IPL. We're talking about Mohammad Shami. Yes. Do you think he's not the bowler that he used to be 4 years ago, 3 years ago? Because he comes in, he looks like a shadow of the great bowler he once was. Is it just is it too early for us to understand, or do you think he's lost his zip and nip?
I actually think that Shami, even though he's more of a traditional bowler, can continue to have success in the IPL. Now, the last two seasons that he's played, 2022 and 2023, he had an economy rate of around about exactly 8 runs per over, took a decent number of wickets as well. He missed the 2024 IPL where things kind of went to a new level, that we saw scoring rates that we've never seen before, and it looks like the 2025 IPL is going to be another example of that. So if we can get the return of Shami as he was prior to his layoff with his injury, then I think he can be very effective for Sunrisers Hyderabad. But there is that if there, and it is a difficult situation bowling in Hyderabad, usually a very, very fine batting pitch. So he's another one that looms as very key to SRH's chances, but I'm backing him to have a pretty decent IPL.
Thank you, Paul, for the wonderful insights. Now, we also have on the show Stanley Chiodza, the man himself, the coach who's now coaching in Dubai, but at the same time, he's played junior cricket with Zimbabwe and has been involved with the Zimbabwean cricket team for far too long. Let's hear his views. Stanley, welcome to the show, straight from Dubai. Are we witnessing the end of an era? We're talking about not the fan emotions. We are not talking about the what the grapevine has been saying, but you purely from the point of view as a coach, what do you make of the telltale signs which are saying that it's finally a swan song? We are not hurrying them into any kind of retirement, but what are the kind of signals you're getting as a coach about Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni?
Hello, Sunil, and hello to everyone. Sunil, if it so happens that this is the last time, I will not be surprised. Now, a couple of factors for me, as I'm seeing Dhoni starting to give responsibility to the other players. It's not often that you see an all-out batsman batting at number 8, as we witnessed in the last match versus Mumbai. 2 all-rounders batting ahead of him in Sam Curran and Jadeja. He's an all-out batsman, and when you have an all-out batsman batting at number 8, is he playing as a specialist wicketkeeper? So for me, the role that Mahendra Singh Dhoni is now taking up at Chennai Super Kings is a sign of what is happening in the future in terms of will he play, will he continue to play, or perhaps it's now for him saying, you know what, it's time for me to hand over the responsibilities to the other players, and I slowly, gradually hang up the boots. So either way, I would not be surprised once again if it so happens that we see him next season, because Mahendra Singh Dhoni has kept us guessing in many a times past before. So if it so happens that we see them again, and well, that's another chapter that would be in history, that would have been written in the history book. So, but with that responsibility that is now giving to other players, his role within the team of the Chennai Super Kings, for me, is a sign that perhaps this could be the last time we will be seeing Mahendra Singh Dhoni versus a Virat Kohli kind of fixture happening at the stadium. Wow, plenty that they've given us, plenty we will live by. That's one thing for sure.
Stanley, the ground and the pitch at MA Chidambaram Stadium is very peculiar. It hasn't changed, but we keep on seeing the stats and they're very bewildering to us. The team batting first has won 57% of the matches, while chasing team has won 43. Very different to the other pitches right now. What do you think if the team wins the toss? Will they get into the batting mold, or they'll prefer chasing, considering the dew factor, the lights, the air, the humidity? What's your take onto this?
Sunil, Chennai has become the battle of the spinners. Now, at what point of the match would you rather be facing a world-class spin attack? It's when the wicket is relatively new, still new. Once there's tear and wear on that surface, that spin attack comprising of Jadeja, Ashwin, Nur Ahmed, you do not want to be facing that spin attack when there's now good conditions for spin. That means you do not want to be batting second. Okay. Now, RCB have Krunal Pandya. I think he's going to play a massive role in this match as well. And hence, I say the battle of the spinners. There's Livingston as well to add on. He's a batting all-rounder. They will need to add a third spinner, RCB, to try and even the odds. We watched the first match where Chennai Super Kings, it was a close encounter. It took a good batting effort from the top order to see them through. So it's a battle of the spinners. You do not want to be facing a spin attack batting second. So with the toss, it's a no-brainer to want to bowl first.
Well, Stanley, we also have some stats here about the bowling department and the wickets falling. In Chennai, out of the 141 matches that have played, fast bowlers have taken 379 wickets. Yes, from 141 matches, 379 wickets, while the spinners have only claimed 226. Do you think today the team will rely on the spin or they will get into the pace bowling attack?
Well, the stats do tell one story, but however, any bowling attack needs to be balanced. And the one thing that you've seen in this IPL is that many teams have swing bowlers up front. Okay, and Chennai have swing bowlers. Sam Curran up front as well. And RCB, you've got Dal up front as well. So you need a good balance at the end of the day, but it's how you use it. You know, seamers will play a massive role when the ball is still hard, when there's lateral movement, if there is any. That's their best time to be bowling. And obviously at the back end of the innings. The middle period at Chennai is for spinners. Okay, the majority of their job, their main job, is to contain, make it difficult for the batsman to score, make it difficult for the batsman to rotate strike. That's the main job of the spinners because the conditions will be conducive. You're getting something to force the batsman to think about, to try and force mistakes. That's where the spin comes in. For seamers, you get a lot of your wickets when the ball is still new. You get a lot of your wickets at the back end when batsmen are looking to try and tee off in the power play, the last couple of overs. So a good balance is always necessary in this format of the game.
Well, this is going to be a big match tonight. Stanley, what is your understanding? Remember, last year in IPL 2024, Chennai was eliminated out of the tournament after losing to RCB. Is it a revenge time? Are the daggers going to be drawn out instead of the cricket bat? Let's hear your views onto the match today.
So no, I do like these questions about revenge. But for me, the best form of revenge starts by playing a good brand of cricket that guarantees you a result. Chennai Super Kings know they started versus Mumbai Indians in their first match versus spin batting second. Now, RCB have decent spinners as well. Good spinners in Krunal Pandya, Liam Livingston. And I'd like to see that third spinner into the mix today. Such that if they find themselves winning the toss, batting first and bowling second, perhaps that spin threat that we witnessed in that first match for Chennai Super Kings can come to the fore. Chennai Super Kings know they've got a bit of work to be done. So obviously playing in that home conditions, I'm sure they would have gone out and done their homework on how to play spin. RCB, on the other hand, would like to maintain that momentum and not give Dhoni, if possibly, this is the last time we're seeing a Dhoni versus Kohli encounter. They don't want to give him that joy of him having won the last match.
Well, Noel, this is your favorite pitch in the world after the Sunrisers' home ground, which is Hyderabad. Let's talk about the big boy himself, Rachin Ravindra. He scored 190 runs in 6 matches. Not too great, but he's a big match player at this Chennai ground. Do you think he can still pose a significant threat to RCB in today's match, considering he's just scored 190 runs in 6 games?
Yes, I feel Rachin Ravindra can be a real threat to RCB in this game. Why I'm saying, because in what form he is, he is coming. He is coming to this IPL. We have seen him performing for New Zealand in the ICC Championship Trophy just concluded at Dubai. Last year in 23, he's got 300s in the World Cup. So you know what kind of player he is. He's a great enterprising left-hander from New Zealand. Who can come and bowl a bit in between, which he has done for New Zealand. He's been an asset to the Chennai Super Kings recently. He's been in great form. In the first outing itself in IPL, he's got a 50-odd runs. And in the last 5 innings, he's got 65, 37, along with 1 wicket, 105. He's got 112 in the recent. So he's in great form. He's in great nick, and I think he likes the MA Chidambaram Stadium also. In recent 5 innings, I think he's got 190 odd runs. So you can imagine what kind of player he is and what he can be an asset to the Chennai Super Kings and a threat to RCB in this game. I think he will open the innings, and he's a great cricketer.
Well, Virat Kohli himself, the man in the spotlight today. He's got a good record against Ashwin and Jadeja in IPL. He's got a strike rate of 108, and against Jadeja, he's had a strike rate of 123. Now, when you look at both the comparison, he's just faced 145 deliveries between the two of them. Do you think these two experienced bowlers can tie him out and just boggle him down in the match tonight?
Look, Virat Kohli is Virat Kohli. We all know what kind of player he is. He's a dominant player. T20 is his format. He's got a lot of runs for RCB in the recent IPLs. He's been the man of the match on many occasions. He's been the best batsman of the series. Last year, he's got around 700 runs. So we can imagine what he brings to the table in IPL. Yes, recently he's been out of form. During the bilateral series in England, he was struggling to the spinners. I think that will be a key point for the spinners like Ravindra Jadeja or Ashwin to take a note of it and keep an eye on Virat Kohli, what he's doing. I think Virat will not be struggling against them, but he will be a little careful because both are very experienced bowlers, Ashwin and Jadeja. They've been teammates throughout the whenever they played for the country, all these three. So they know in and out of Virat very well, and Virat knows in and out of Ravindra Jadeja and Ashwin what kind of bowlers they are. So there will be a little bit of battle amongst them, with a cautious back of the mind. But this is T20 format, anything can happen. And I think this will be a great contest when both of them will come to bowl to Virat, and what Virat will bring play and really attack or will he rotate, because rotating is not possible in T20, but I think these two guys will pose a bit of threat to Virat.
Well, the comparisons are bound to happen today. Virat Kohli is, of course, the RCB's flag bearer, but at the same time, you also have Devon Conway. Let's look at his experience, which is lesser as compared to Virat Kohli, but at the same time, he's got a better average as compared to Virat Kohli. He's got a better strike rate, and he's got a big heart and a big captain supporting him. Do you think in today's match, Devon Conway, who's become a big name, will have an impact on the game tonight?
I like this guy, Devon Conway. I always rated him very high because I've been keenly watching him when he played for New Zealand, and he opened the innings. Even he has performed for CSK. What I like of him is a very attacking batsman with a lot of sensibility in him. He knows when to attack, when to take the bowlers to the cleaners. He's enterprising left-hander when it comes to number 2 in the opening slot. He's a good fielder also. Remember that, he's been an asset to the New Zealand team all the time. Recently, he's not played much of cricket for the New Zealand during the ICC Trophy. But I love this guy when he bats. He's a clean hitter of the ball, striker of the ball. He can really, if it's his day, he can just take the bowlers to all parts of the ground. the comparison between him and Kohli, I think Kohli is a different kind of player. Conway is a different kind of player, but I don't like to compare any players with anybody, especially with Virat or anybody, because everyone has their own skills of batting, own way of going about their business. They know how to bat when the situation is. And I like this guy a lot, Devon Conway. He's really performed for CSK on many occasions whenever the opportunity has been given to him. And I think Dhoni has a lot of faith with him, and I think even the same with the new captain Ruturaj Gaikwad. And I hope that Devon Conway stands to his to the trust what the CSK has put on him and perform all the time. And I will be keenly watching this guy when he bats.
Well, when the team comparisons happen, you've got to get the skipper. Of course, we don't have MS Dhoni, you don't have Virat Kohli leading their side, but you've got Rituraj Gaikwad of CSK, who looks quite more experienced than RCB's Rajat Patidar. But Patidar has been more impactful when it comes to the comparison of the strike rate. Will this difference play any role in the flow of runs between both the teams when they come into act tonight?
I think it's good to see these two youngsters, Ruturaj Gaikwad and Rajat Patidar, to be handed over the responsibility at this age, and especially Ruturaj Gaikwad, he's still a youngster compared to Rajat Patidar, who is in his 30s. But yeah, both are talented batters. Ruturaj has played for India. He showed his potential at the highest level, but then we know what exactly he did in the IPL, and one of the reasons why he got the captaincy and the faith from Mahendra Singh Dhoni. While Rajat Patidar, definitely he may not have done wonders when it comes to international cricket or maybe test cricket, but definitely we have seen what he has done in the IPL. He's been fantastic. That's why he's given the responsibility. I feel it's one good contest to watch how these two leaders turn up with. It's something to watch out for, and who supersedes whom, because it's something like Ruturaj is a floater kind of batter in the top order. Sometimes he opens the innings, sometimes he bats at number 3. Especially batting at number at Chennai Super Kings is a challenger because the wicket is slow. It's a bit turning. It's not easy to hit. While Rajat Patidar has been batting in Chennai Swami Stadium, a batting beauty, I would say. He plays most of his games there. So it would be interesting to see how Rajat does it at the den of the Lions Den actually, and how Rajat Patidar comes up with against Krunal Pandey, I would say, the left arm spinner who won man of the match in the previous game. So it's a contest between the two, a mouth-watering one.
Thank you, Thos, for those stats and the idea. But also, let's do some analysis between Khalil Ahmed and Josh Hazlewood. Of course, Khalil Ahmed has a wide experience of playing in IPL as compared to Josh, while the latter has more experience than Khalil. So what do you think this comparison in this high-octane match would be? Because when you look at their stats, which are on the screen right now, both of them have played from 28 to 115. You've got 28 matches with 114 matches that they've done, 832 runs conceded as compared to 3,582, so on and so forth. So what do you think this comparison would bring on to the viewers and the fans tonight?
I think it's a bit unfair to see, to compare the two cricketers, especially somebody like Josh Hazlewood, who's an experienced guy. I think one of the greats of the game when it comes to Australian cricket, and Khalil Ahmed, who is yet to start or maybe to make an impact at the highest level of the game. But he's been doing well in the IPL. We saw what exactly Khalil did in the last game for Chennai Super Kings, one of the guys instrumental for CSK in the previous game, while Josh Hazlewood was as good. But he may not have got the number of wickets like a Khalil. I would say it's fun to watch because Khalil is a left-arm pacer, somebody who's got that advantage, to bowl around the wicket as well as over the wicket. While Josh Hazlewood will be bowling most of the time from over the wicket. So Khalil has the advantage when it comes to being a left-arm pacer, while Josh will come up with a lot of experience, will be handy. Will be interesting to see how the two fast bowlers perform on the day, because in Chennai Swami seamers have been dominating mostly, which happens in most of the stadiums or maybe most of the grounds because of the new ball. So it would be one good contest to see exactly how the two fast bowlers turn up. And I think the brain behind Khalil Ahmed, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, will be somebody who will be watching, who will be guiding him, while Josh Hazelwood will be on his own. Especially being an experienced guy, it wouldn't be a difficult task as well.
Well, this is very ironical, and this is straight from the Jurassic Park's record and stat. The reason why we say this is because the last time when RCB defeated CSK, it was back in 2008. Virat Kohli had just started playing. MS Dhoni was the skipper. Lata Mangeshkar was still singing. Prime Minister Modi at that time was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. The dollar to rupee conversion was different. Sachin Tendulkar had just scored his 85th century. Things were different, and they haven't changed in the last so many years. Do you think today will be different, considering RCB is taking on CSK, the whistle Podu in their background tonight?
So as we all know, IPL is inspired by Bollywood or maybe Indian film industry, and we see a lot of revenge movies in the Indian film industry. So why not? Yeah, 2008 was the last time RCB defeated Chennai Super Kings, and again, I mean, this time they would be keen, especially when they're going into the Lions Den. And Mahendra Singh Dhoni, although he may be behind the wickets, not the captain, but he'll be one of the brains, the shrewdest brains behind Ruturaj Gaikwad. So I think it would be one classical contest to watch out for, and a balanced one, considering both teams are balanced. One has couple of extraordinary bowlers, spin tweakers, I would say, in R. Ashwin and Jadeja, while the other guys, RCB, they have a good batting lineup. So it's a good contest between CSK spinners and RCB's batters. But again, I would want to see a good contest, an exciting one, where RCB defeats Chennai Super Kings and takes that revenge of 2008.
Well, before we wrap up our show tonight, we're going to spare a thought for the umpires, their plight. And we spoke to the most experienced umpire of IPL, who's umpired over 220 odd matches. He's been a third umpire, a fourth umpire, but at the same time, let's understand when an umpire plays and stands in the IPL, that too at the Chennai ground, what does he face? What are the problems? What are the challenges? And as I said, let's have a heart for umpire as well, because they do the most difficult job on this high pitch, high octane drama. Let's hear what Anil Chaudhary had to say last week, and hear his views on the pressure that an umpire follows.
You are bound to miss caught behinds. You are bound to miss your communication with fourth umpire, TV umpire, because this noise level is different. It's not normal music or other sound. It is a different kind of, I don't know which degree is this. It hits you here. And I spoke to Dhoni also. Can you hear anything? He just gave a just.
Well, there you heard it. We had the four best voices and the biggest umpire of IPL talking about his plight, his challenges faced at the Chepauk Stadium. Well, that's all we had time for. This is Sunil Yashkalra signing off on Cricket Predicta, a show sponsored by 1xBet and Womeki Infrastructure. Keep watching Newsx. We'll be back after a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere else.
For more such videos, subscribe to the Newsx YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.